This program is brought to you by generous donations from the community and sponsored by Stifel Financial.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Lynn Forbes.
And I'm Paul Haas, and you're watching Nevada County Now.
Coming up tonight, Nevada County prepares for a new emergency alert test, and residents raise concerns over expanding flock safety surveillance cameras.
Plus, Grass Valley proclaims June as Pride Month. Vote centers are now open ahead of the June 2nd primary, and California officials warn of a deadly surge in poisonous mushrooms.
And later, we'll speak with Dr. Mindy Romero from the Center for Inclusive Democracy about civic engagement and representation across California. Don't go away. We'll take a short sponsor break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you to Stifel Financial, proudly helping individuals pursue financial goals, businesses and organizations raise and protect capital, and communities offer a higher quality of life. To learn more, visit www.stifel.com.
Nevada County residents are encouraged to sign up for the county's new emergency alert system, Nevada County Alerts, ahead of a countywide test scheduled for tomorrow, May 28th. The new system is replacing the previous Code Red notification service and will be used to send emergency alerts and evacuation notices during wildfires and other emergencies. Officials say residents should still register and verify their information, even if they were previously enrolled in Code Red. Users can add up to 5 addresses, including home, work, school, or family member locations. Emergency alerts may come from several different phone numbers, and residents are encouraged to save those numbers in their contacts. County officials also remind residents to know their evacuation zone before an emergency occurs. More information is available at readynevadacounty.org. And residents across Nevada County are raising concerns over the growing use of flock safety cameras and automated license plate readers, commonly known as ALPR systems. The cameras, first approved by the Grass Valley City Council in 2022 and later expanded into Nevada City and county jurisdictions in 2023, are designed to capture license plates and vehicle details at major traffic points. Law enforcement agencies say the technology helps locate stolen vehicles, investigate crimes, and respond to alerts such as Amber notifications. But critics argue the systems raise serious privacy concerns, citing unclear data sharing policies, possible federal access to collected information, and what they describe as limited civilian oversight. Some community members are calling for greater transparency, including the release of public records tied to the approval, procurement, and operation of the cameras. In response, the Grass Valley Police Department has announced a public community meeting to discuss the use of flock cameras. According to a May 26th Facebook post, the department says the meeting is intended to address community concerns, explain safeguards designed to prevent misuse, and share examples of how the technology has helped solve crimes. The meeting will take place June 10th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Love Building in Condon Park on Minnie Street in Grass Valley. Police say the event will have an informal format with multiple officers available to speak directly with residents and answer questions. And at the May 26th meeting of the City Council of Grass Valley, officials proclaimed June 2026 as Pride Month, recognizing the contributions and continued advocacy of the LGBTQ+ community here in Nevada County.
Proclamation for Pride Month of June 2026. Whereas the City of Grass Valley is a welcoming community and exceptional place to love, learn, work, play, and raise a family. And whereas the principles upon which our nation was founded include liberty, equality, and the protection of individual rights. And whereas the City of Grass Valley values respect, dignity, and inclusion for all members of the community. And whereas diversity in all its forms contributes to the strength, character, and vibrancy of our city. And whereas residents, students, employees, and business owners who identify as a part of the LGBTQ+ community contribute meaningfully to the economic, cultural, and civic life of Grass Valley. And whereas the month of June is widely recognized as Pride Month, a time to acknowledge the importance of treating all people with fairness and respect, now therefore be it resolved that the City of Grass Valley City Council hereby proclaims June 2026 as Pride Month in the City of Grass Valley and encourages residents to continue fostering a community grounded in respect, inclusion, and equal opportunity for all.
Rick Partridge, presenting on behalf of Nevada County Pride, shared updates on the organization's ongoing work to support LGBTQ+ residents throughout the region and reflected on this being the 4th annual Pride Proclamation locally. During the presentation, organizers discussed plans to expand services in the future, including the long-term goal of opening a fully staffed LGBTQ+ community center. A public survey about those efforts is expected to go out in June. Nevada County Pride also highlighted several upcoming Pride events, including Lavender Glow, a queer art and local history exhibit presented through Art in Public Spaces in collaboration between Nevada County Arts and Culture and Nevada County Pride. The exhibit runs through August 28th at the Rood Center with an opening reception set for Friday, June 12th. For more information on events and programs, visit nevadacountypride.org. Don't go away. We'll take a short commercial break and be right back.
Looking for a way to give back to your community? Join the Gold Country Kiwanis Club in Grass Valley. Kiwanis is a group of passionate local volunteers dedicated to making a difference in the lives of children and families. From organizing fun events to supporting education, youth programs, and community projects, together they are building a brighter future for Grass Valley. Be a part of something special, meet new friends, give back, and make an impact. Visit goldcountrykiwanis.com website today to learn more. Gold Country Kiwanis Club, serving the children of the world, one community at a time.
Community members are invited to attend the Truckee Regional Library Project Update and Community Workshop on Wednesday, June 3rd from 5 to 7 at the Steve Randall Community Recreation Center in Truckee. Hosted by the Town of Truckee, Nevada County, and Friends of the Truckee Library, the free event will provide updates on the new Regional Library Project, including planning progress, updated floor plans, fundraising efforts, and next steps. Project architects and representatives will be available to answer questions during interactive breakout sessions. Light refreshments and Spanish interpretation will also be provided.
Lots going on, huh, Paul?
There's a lot taking place.
Yeah. So what about the new alert system? You and your family have signed up, I assume?
Nevada County Alerts. I am definitely signed up. I went to the new site, re-registered my information, even though they said that the code red information would be ported over. I wanted to make sure that my information was up to date right now, and then was able to change some addresses because some people had moved and my family members had left the area as well, so I didn't need them anymore.
Yeah, good idea. So the test is tomorrow. Do we have a time?
10:30 a.m. is when they'll begin to roll out.
Okay.
And so that means every student that has their cell phone in class turned on, their phone's going to buzz.
Oh, geez.
That, as a former teacher, I used to smile when it happened just because I knew that it was coming.
I'm assuming that's okay with the teachers.
Just for that event.
Just for that one event. Thanks for helping me out today, Paul.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure.
All righty, so don't go away. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
In our community, every voice matters and every vote counts. The League of Women Voters of Nevada County empowers informed citizens with unbiased information about elections, ballot measures, and how government works. We register voters, explain ballot measures fairly, and host candidate forums, helping everyone participate with confidence. Because democracy works best when we all show up. Your vote, your future. Discover more and get involved at lwvnevadacounty.org.
Nevada County voters can now cast their ballots in person ahead of the June 2nd statewide direct primary election. 2 vote centers are open daily through Election Day. Providence Mine Room, Nevada County Rood Center, 950 Maidu Avenue in Nevada City, and the Truckee Airport Community Room, 10356 Truckee Airport Road in Truckee. Vote centers offer in-person voting, same-day voter registration, ballot drop-off, replacement ballots, accessible voting equipment, and language assistance. Officials also remind voters who plan to mail in their ballots to make sure they are postmarked by June 2nd. Due to new postal processing changes, mail is now postmarked at a regional postal center, and in Nevada County, mail is processed and postmarked in West Sacramento. Voters who want to mail their ballots at this late date are encouraged to get them hand-stamped at a local post office. Ballots must be postmarked by Election Day and received by the county elections office no later than 7 days after Election Day. For vote center hours, ballot drop box locations, and election information, visit nevadacountyca.gov. At the May 20th California Water Commission meeting, officials shared updates on major water storage investment program projects designed to improve California's long-term water supply and drought resilience. Several large-scale storage projects remain in development, with some moving closer to construction and final funding milestones. Commission staff also delivered a semi-annual groundwater conditions update focusing on California's ongoing efforts to manage groundwater sustainably under SGMA, the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act. The discussion highlighted groundwater conditions across the state, land reduction concerns, and continued work to protect groundwater supplies for future generations. For further updates, please visit cw.ca.gov for previous recordings and upcoming meetings. Well, the Nevada County Irrigation District is proposing water rate increases to help fund major infrastructure repairs and upgrades across Nevada, Placer, and Yuba counties. NID says the increases are needed to maintain aging systems, improve water treatment facilities, and complete projects like the $55 million Scotts Flat spillway replacement. For the average treated water customer, bills could increase by about $5.41 per month. Irrigation customers could see increases of about $24 per month during the summer billing cycle. At the public hearing today, the proposed rate increase passed, but the official amount has been postponed until later this year, as the rates will not take effect until January 2027. California health officials are warning of a deadly surge in poisonous wild mushroom cases following heavy winter and spring rains that triggered a statewide super bloom of toxic fungi. Since late 2025, at least 50 severe poisonings have been reported across California, resulting in 4 deaths and multiple liver transplants. Officials say highly toxic mushrooms such as the death cap and western destroying angel have been found in parks, forests, and residential areas, particularly in Northern California and the Central Coast. Even a small amount can be fatal, and the toxins are not destroyed by cooking or drying. Symptoms can begin with severe gastrointestinal illnesses and may be followed by a false recovery before sudden liver and kidney failure. Health officials urge the public not to consume wild mushrooms unless identified by a qualified expert. For concerns or possible exposure, contact the California Poison Control System at 1-800-222-1222 and visit the California Poison Control System's website at calpoison.org. Don't go away. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with tonight's guest.
In Nevada County, we believe in the power of education to transform lives. Whether you're a student, parent, or educator, the Nevada County Superintendent of Schools is here to support you every step of the way. From innovative programs to strong community partnerships, we are dedicated to empowering the next generation. Together, we're building a brighter future with quality education for all. Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, empowering education, strengthening communities. Let's make every student success our priority. Learn more today at ncsos.org.
Tonight's guest is Dr. Mindy Romero, the founder and director of the Center for Inclusive Democracy, a nonpartisan research center focused on voting behavior, civic engagement, and political representation across the United States. A political sociologist and nationally recognized expert on participation in equity and democracy, she has spent her career studying how structural barriers shape who is and isn't represented in our political system. Today, she joins us to talk about the work of the Center for Inclusive Democracy and why inclusive participation matters for stronger communities. Welcome, Mindy. It's nice to have you here in person.
Thanks for having me.
So, full disclosure, I am co-president of the League of Women Voters, and you are our guest speaker tonight. I can't wait. And we've been publicizing your appearance, so thank you for coming up from Sacramento.
It was a beautiful drive.
I know, it's a nice time of year here.
Happy to be here.
So tell us a bit about first off, tell us a little bit about your background. How does one come to this amazing career that you have and all this work that you've done to create and then foster and nurture the Center for Inclusive Democracy?
Sure. Well, I'm one of those odd people that pretty much knew what they wanted to do since age 10.
Oh, geez.
Did I know I was going to get a PhD, become a researcher? Of course not.
Right.
My parents would have been incredibly worried about me if that was the case.
Yes.
Understandably so. But I think really at a young age, I noticed differences across communities, differences in terms of access to resources, quality of life, whether it be what's happening in kids' schools in a school district or potholes or
Sure.
Overall kind of well-being. And I wondered why that was the case and wondered why it seemed as I got older that many of the communities that seemed to maybe need a louder voice or have more representation or at least be present, right, at things like Board of Supervisors meetings or City Council meetings, those typically were the communities that were least represented. And it didn't make sense to me why, because I know communities care very deeply about, about their well-being, about the families that are within them and so forth. So I wanted to kind of figure out this puzzle. Representation for all, definitely, but also why was this kind of disparity or gap that I saw kind of present? Why weren't people more engaged, right? And I knew it wasn't an apathy thing. That was in my gut as a kid. So I went to school and studied political science and ended up becoming a political sociologist. Wanted to kind of figure out that puzzle, but once I did, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And I realized that there was a gap also in voting. I mean, not in voting, excuse me, of course in voting, but a gap in research and an understanding amongst policymakers, even community groups, the general public, media, about why these disparities exist. A lot of naming or assumptions, right, about why communities are not participating, thinking that they don't care or they're apathetic. Really, that just kind of justified, right, the situation.
Yes.
And meant that fewer resources were going to go to communities to encourage them to be engaged. And so I wanted to understand how could research, right, actually help in a nonpartisan, neutral way, right? How could we actually help affect change through that work? So I founded my center.
And what was the year that the center was founded?
2012.
Okay,
actually. Actually 2010 was when we first started it. 2012 was when we kind of officially launched, but really 2010. And what we do is we produce nonpartisan research that has this lens trying to understand voter behavior, civic engagement, the barriers that are in play for everybody, but particularly, of course, for underrepresented groups. Why people participate, why they don't, what we can do about it, and the deep level of disconnection that so many of us feel when it comes to our democracy.
Especially now, right?
Yeah,
especially now.
Even diehard voters. You're the lead president of the League of Women Voters, and I often will hear from diehard, very committed voters that sometimes they struggle with seeing how their vote really matters, right? Because it's a political system that makes many people feel unheard.
Yes,
or
alienated. Or there's barriers to voting that
we could go on and on.
Considered.
Right? We could go on and on and on. Different placements where people are at, we want to recognize that. But still, the common thread now is that so many people from different backgrounds, different communities, walks of life, perspectives, feel disconnected and alienated. And what can research tell us about that, right, to help change that? And so our work is used here in California pretty widely, but across the country by community groups, by policymakers, by elected officials, election officials, right, informing their work and how they conduct elections. We have an election coming up, and there's lots to know and learn still about how people engage with the election system, how things like your ballot being, how it's designed, right, or
Subtle things that matter.
placement of vote centers,
Yes.
or how your materials, right, get to you or don't get to you,
Yes.
right, that can impact people's access to voting. So we do that work, and it's been, it's really something that I've personally been driven to do, but also everybody that I work with. We have an amazing committed team that we want to see a fully participatory representative democracy that works in the best interest of the people, what the people believe in and feel is worthy. This is the key
Yes.
of their time and their energy and the research, and all of the work that they have to do to be fully engaged members of their democracy. And that's what we do. But again, nonpartisan, we want to see participation, period. And we want to see it representative of people and communities.
Yes, because there are times where you say even people who are committed are confused or unsure, especially in these times of heightened emotions.
Yeah.
And
in a polarized environment, it
and
becomes even harder.
Even harder, but that's when it's most important. And so that's why I do the league I do with the work.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's sort of foundational for you as well. I mean, we just have to, continue to believe in our democracy and in the Constitution and in the value of your voice, through a vote.
Yeah, your vote does matter, right? Participation of all sorts matters deeply. But we have a lot of work to do for people to really feel often that they're making a difference. They are, but there's that gap that has to be
Yes.
closed. And really, I think ultimately it comes down to our democracy performing in a way that people feel is really in its best interest. So, but in the meantime, we can't give up the ship, right?
And what do you
People
see?
need to participate. People need to make it work better and have their voice heard, even through that frustration.
Yes, and traditionally the primaries are not the largest voter turnout statistics. So what are you seeing in the coming weeks as far as voter participation in this polarized environment? Are you seeing anything?
It's a question I'm getting a lot. One thing we'll know is for sure, I never guess or try to predict exact turnout numbers, but we know turnout.
Who's going to be governor?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
True. I can tell you what the survey says. So we know turnout's going to be low. It's always low in California primaries and across the country, generally speaking. It will not be a majority of eligible voters that will participate in this primary. That means that the ballot that gets set for November, which will have more participants, more voters, will be set by not only a small group, but also a very unrepresentative group.
Okay.
It'll be demographically not representative of any county, Nevada County, the state as a whole. And that impacts how people connect with what they see on the final ballot, right, in November. So it's going to be low. The question is, and maybe this is what you're asking too, is will it be a little higher than we might normally expect?
Because there's so much buzz.
And because it is a competitive primary this year. 4 years ago we didn't. We had an incumbent governor.
Right.
I think it could be a little higher than what we would expect. The numbers, the early voting numbers are kind of concerning some. They're looking a little lower than we might expect at this point. But I think a lot of voters, we have some survey data to say that there's a lot of voters that are kind of holding out, still undecided, or maybe trying to think strategically about their vote, particularly on the Democratic side, not the Republican side.
Right.
And so they're not kind of registering yet. And actually the data is showing that it's typically it's the Democrats, maybe older Democratic women, just from Paul Mitchell's data, that are holding out or not voting as early as some of them often do. And we'll have to see what actually happens, obviously, by the time all the votes are counted.
Yeah.
We hope, regardless of how people vote, we hope that we see a higher than normal turnout because that's good for democracy. But no matter what, it's going to be much lower than the general, and it will be a very unrepresentative group.
Yeah.
So if you don't normally vote in primaries, get out and make your voice heard. It's a great time also to bring young people.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Talk to your kids, talk to your grandkids.
Help them research. People can get also intimidated by that longer ballot, right? All those candidates.
Can't find their birth certificate or their whatever the heck. Yeah, I get it.
Find out, make sure you're registered. Of course, we have same-day registration, but get yourself out, get your friends out, get young people out, get that practice for them. support them. Don't just expect them to vote, but support them and kind of meet them where they're at. A lot of young people are also skeptical about the political system, understandably so, in the context in which
Absolutely.
they've been raised.
Yes.
And get that November ballot, maybe a little bit decided by a little bit more representative group.
Right.
And then also, if we're talking about a young person, now they've got some practice and some support that helps them be much more likely to participate in the November election. And of course, we've been talking about the gubernatorial race, but whether you have a candidate that you feel passionate about, there are lots and lots of races on the ballot, right? Other statewide races, and of course, local races that impact people's lives in a critical way every single day.
Well, I'm glad you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, and I just want to emphasize that is so important that people make sure that they get out no matter what to vote on all of those races.
Yes, and I especially want to emphasize what you said about voting local, because as I always say, today's dog catcher could be running for tomorrow's Congress, so district seat. So it's very important, and this is where we live. So what can you tell us about the Nevada County voter? We don't have to get too deep into it, but what's the voter profile for Nevada County?
And I was going to say, speaking of women voters, of course, I know you have men that are members as well. But for women that could be candidates, the pipeline is always more challenging for women. Usually is more likely to start at the local level, supporting all candidates that you believe in, but particularly women candidates, giving them that experience and starting that pipeline of knowledge and donors and support can help make sure that maybe we have more viable gubernatorial candidates.
Yeah, that would be
or
nice.
whatever that race might be.
Yes.
Typical Nevada voter. So first off, Nevada County has some of the highest, election after election, some of the highest turnout of counties across. Yes.
Yes.
You're typically 2024, it was in the county itself, voter turnout was in the top 20%
Wow.
group.
So proud.
Should be proud. There are big differences, and we'll talk about this tonight. Differences depending on the election by 20, 30, 40 percentage points in terms of turnout for young versus older, for Latino, Asian American versus the general population. There are Nevadas, even with that high turnout, sometimes people see this, and I hear this from other counties too. Oh, we've got such great turnout, we should celebrate it. But you know how you can get your turnout even higher? By understanding the lower turnout by other groups, supporting young people, for instance, right? Helping them get out to vote, get overall turnout, but a more representative turnout of the population. And that can impact local races, but it also just impacts people's connection, right, to their democracy, period.
Yeah, I love this this focus on representative voting, or results, I should say. The representative, it's so important because just because, to your point, there's high voter turnout doesn't mean it's representative of the broader community. So I think that's a really important point, and that's why we need our youngins to get out there and vote, right? And people who may not necessarily vote, feel that their voice matters, that it really does matter.
Yes, all groups, but certainly maybe a little extra work to help to get out, because sometimes it does take a little bit more work to help to get young people out and other historically underrepresented groups. I'll just say that that's what our democracy, Americans' version of democracy, is supposed to be about representation. Our elected officials are supposed to be working in the best interests, meeting the needs, interests, wants, desires of their constituents, right? Those that they are voted in to serve, and that is all contingent on that they're being elected by a representative, in our modern version of democracy, a representative population. So those elected representatives understand are from the community, right, and live the same life experiences.
And that's why the whole gerrymandering move across the country is particularly irksome, because it doesn't allow for this representative profile of our country. It does the exact opposite. So we can talk about that.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, we could talk about that another time.
Yeah.
We're so excited to have you tonight.
Thanks.
And looking forward to more information. And thank you for driving all the way up from SAC. We want you back.
Anytime. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
I won't turn down an invitation here.
Thanks, Mindy. We'll see you later. Thanks. Well, folks, thank you for watching this edition of Nevada County Now, your choice for local news brought to you by locals. We'd love your input about the show, what you would like to see on the future shows, or if you'd like to be a guest or contribute as a host, writer, or producer. Please email your ideas and suggestions to news@nevadacountytv.org. And please help us spread the word about Nevada County Now. Together we can keep our community informed. Until next time, have fun getting out there to explore all our community has to offer, and vote.